Good evening, everybody. We are live as promised at 6 p.m. We'll let a few people get on here, and we'll hopefully everybody's doing fine from the weather. I know there's a lot of wind blowing, a lot of rain. I haven't heard any bad weather. You got any bad weather down your way, Gage? Just
It's raining pretty good right now, but it seems to be, it's not too bad.
there you go. Yeah, I was hoping. I seen where Louisiana got a few tornadoes. I don't think we've got anything but big wind gusts here, so
I think it's
hopefully it
supposed to be
stays
some strong,
calm. And
right, some strong winds coming behind this stuff too.
yeah, I see where it's going down the coast right now. So, but man, we
Right.
got a few people tuned in. Man, I appreciate y'all jumping on here. I try to be prompt with this 6 o'clock stuff. That way, people's got to spend time with their families, and some people want to go to church, and hopefully, a lot of churches are canceled tonight. I think because of the weather, so that's kind of smart. So
Right.
you don't want to get caught, out driving back and forth. I'm not saying it's a bad place to be at church, but you don't want to get caught going to and from. So.
That's correct.
Well, I'm gonna introduce Mr. Gage King right here. I called to him a couple of days ago. I said, "Hey man, would you like to come on the show and talk a little bass fishing and just fishing in general?" He goes, "Man, I'd love to," and give him an opportunity to thank his sponsors and all that good stuff. He just won a tournament down there in the Bridgeport Lane. I guess that was the third tournament of the Bridgeport Team Trail, right?
Yes, sir. That's the second one I've been able to fish. We fished the first
Gotcha.
one, and I couldn't fish the second one due to an ABT tournament, but we were able to jump in another one. So
that's good. So yeah, you had 18 pounds something. What was the winning weight you and your dad had?
we had 18-11.
18-11. That's strong. Spotted bass, right?
All spots.
All spots. See, that's strong. So when do you think the spotted bass kind of start dropping off as far as where they get harder to catch, get a little more stingy?
Usually for me, it seems to be May, end of the May, 1st of June. You can still catch a few good ones here and there, but to me, it's not as easy as I could say.
I got you. I know a lot of people concentrate on this time of year. Was there a lot of spots waiting at the Bridgeport Team Trail?
I believe first and second place were spots. Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Which I couldn't believe it. Normally the largemouth are hard to beat right down there right now.
Yeah, somebody gets some good bags. I guess they really start taking over, like you said, in May and June, don't they?
For sure.
Is that when the shad spawn? Is that what really pushes those bigger largemouth up and they start eating?
It does, and that's when I'll usually start chasing them as well. A little bit harder than I am.
I got
right
you. Now. Got you. So I was talking before the show, and we want to kind of put an emphasis on what you and I were talking about. Like Gage was saying, guys, there's really not a lot of secrets in bass fishing, crappie fishing, or anything. It's bait presentation, reading the water, and knowing what time and when to be somewhere. Gage, you're a young fella, and you and your dad slowly trying to figure that out, putting that puzzle together. And sometimes it comes together, and you get a big bag like y'all have.
That's correct. We're usually still stuck in our old ways. My dad has taught me everything I know.
Right.
And this technology and stuff nowadays, you're having to adjust constantly.
Oh yeah.
But the technology is what makes the fishing. It's making it. It's pretty fun to use live scope and stuff now. So.
Oh yeah. It's a learning process, and it gets to tell you what you're doing right and wrong. People don't understand the bait presentation is the key. We'll go into crappie fishing here in a little bit, and I'll describe what I was doing to catch them Saturday. But are you throwing, without going into detail and giving any big secrets away, or just not really secrets, but what you're doing this time of year? You're throwing moving baits or slow baits on spinning reels. What's your?
Well, if I'm scoping, I'm throwing your jig head minnows and things of that sort, jerk baits, and
gotcha.
Pretty much just try to throw something until you make that fish react to your bait is the biggest key. Change colors, that sort of thing.
So did you scope any of them fish you won with?
I think I scoped 2 of them. I did, actually.
Well, okay. 2 out of 5 is pretty strong. So
I couldn't actually see the fish. They were so tight to the bottom. But I knew how to just watch my bait and keep it above the bottom, and the fish, you just see the fish come up there and get it.
Or, if the river current's running pretty strong, you tend to notice that they are hanging on the bottom more?
Yes, they're going to be a lot tighter to cover in your eddies, behind a log, a stump, anything that position that fish out of that current where he can just come out and ambush his prey. If a shad comes by or your lure comes
Right.
by or
That's
whatever.
that's yeah, that's good tips. That's not when you were talking about reading the water. If you can read the water, especially current, this time of year you're always gonna have current, and I mean they run 3 turbines down there at Millers Ferry, constantly. So
Right.
I understand that. So reading that water is key. I think that's a big learning process for a lot of people.
Yes, sir. I've grown up fishing current all my life, pretty much. So, it's a very fun way to catch fish. That's for sure.
Yeah. So let's tell everybody your setup. If I put you in the river and I've got you going up a bank, uh, some lay down logs, you're on the main river. What's your rod, your line weight, and what lure you really, kind of throwing,
Well, I
spinner bait, chatter bait, what are you throwing?
normally throwing a spinner bait on a 20-pound test Seagar, fluorocarbon, on a 6/8 medium heavy rod with a
Gotcha.
slow retrieve reel.
Yeah.
We pitch a jig a lot, Texas rig and stuff. If we have to slow down, they're not wanting to bite that moving bait.
Right. So one of y'all doing one or the other, or both of y'all doing the same once y'all figure out a pattern, I guess.
Yes, sir, we will. But most of the time, I'm usually throwing a moving bait. My dad will be pitching behind me, it's a little bit slower. But if I
Gotcha.
stay on that,
Catch
he gets mad at me all the time because I don't slow down enough.
you
I
hammer on that trolling motor, don't you?
I stay on it.
Yeah, I understand. Hey, that's good stuff, though.
He'll be
Any
like,
opportunity you get to fish, go ahead.
yeah. Oh, he gets on to me a lot, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's cool. Any opportunity you get to fish with your dad like that and win tournaments or just spending time and making memories with him, that's good stuff. I mean, it doesn't
Oh,
matter,
it's
you
great.
know, especially when you win. Michael Hilliard, I didn't. Michael Hilliard's a big cat fisherman. How often do you catch any flatheads with those swim baits? Do you catch a lot of them, Gage?
Oh, we catch a few. Yes, sir. We catch more drum than we do catfish.
Oh yeah, the drum. Hey, they like it too.
They love it.
What's what's bad about those drums is they come out mad, and then all of a sudden they just let off the gas, and you know what you got then. So
Yeah, normally when it's circling down there circling, you either know you got a catfish or a drum. That's correct.
right, but Michael here, like I said, I've caught a couple flatheads crappie fishing, but I'm trying to think of what all we can go over while we're picking your brain. Give these people an opportunity to, but talk about who sponsors you, Gage, because you fished the ABT and then you fished some of Maddie's tournaments, the Bridgeport
That's
Team
right.
Trail.
I've been fishing the ABT now for 4 years, and my dad actually went over to Mark Smart last year and talked with them, and we picked them up as a sponsor for 20. I guess it was 2023 year,
All right.
and then I decided to try to take it to the next level a little bit and asked some local businesses here in Selma, and I actually had some good success, and they got on board with me. The
Awesome.
Safford Trading Company in Safford, Alabama. It's one of my
Yeah.
sponsors.
Oh yeah. Nice place too.
Great place. You got ADS Trucking Performance here in Selma,
Gotcha.
and Precision Dirt Work and Septic, also a local business here in Selma.
Gotcha. That's good,
Great
man. Anytime,
guys. Oh yeah, I'm
anytime you
glad to
got
have.
good people, sponsoring you, good businesses, man. It's just a good all around business decision, man, and it works. It's hard not to work because they already know your character and how much your work ethic, and they want to sponsor somebody and get behind somebody. So that's good stuff, man.
Oh yes, sir. It benefits me, and I'd love to see it benefit them as well.
Oh yeah, like Big Daddy used to say, if somebody spends $1 with me, I want them getting $2 back, and that's the
That's
fact.
that's that's correct.
They want to come in there. Hey, I seen Gage talking about know. Speaking of Safford, didn't you say y'all starting to put some lures in Safford, some fishing lures, a little more, or upgrading everything? What were you telling me about?
Yes, sir. I've been trying to get that going, but Keith's pretty busy. He's a pretty busy man. and he's selling a lot of
he's selling
a lot of lawnmowers and stuff too down there. But I'm working on him. I'm working on him.
Yeah, hey, I tell you, Sapper's got a. I turn right there coming from the house down to Millers Ferry, and that place seems like it gets bigger every time I drive by the place.
Oh, it's
that ain't no kidding. It's cool. Somebody asked a question. William Mills, he wants to know: do you have your live scope on the trolling motor, or do you have a separate pole?
My live scope is on the trolling motor. It's on the perspective mount.
Gotcha. You got it setting out. You're running the 34 or the 32 gauge?
I'm running the 34.
Okay, you run the new one. I got you. It helps with all that. Believe it or not, the 34 helps with that current and piling and everything. So
it does.
Yeah, I noticed that. I went with a guy that had a 34, and I'm still running the old 32. And I got out there with him, and I was like, man, this thing's a little more crisper. I could tell. It just got a little bit better picture, for sure. So when's your next tournament? You're headed somewhere in the morning, right?
I will be headed to the third stop of the ABT at Logan Martin Lake. Going to get me 2 days of practice in and fish up there Saturday. So for $15,000, first place.
Oh yeah, you better be watching that wind. I know it's supposed to blow 30 mile an hour tomorrow too. So
that's what I was telling my dad. It's 2 days of rough practice. It's going to change everything Saturday for sure.
Oh yeah, Saturday's going to be calm, and so hopefully you can locate some fish and do what you do. You always, if you can ever find your fish and your way you like to fish, you always can give yourself a chance to win.
Oh, that's 100%.
Yeah, hopefully you do. I think you will. I think you're gonna have some current moving through the lake a little more than normal because they getting a little rain up there, and
we're definitely gonna go. We're definitely gonna go fish our strengths in practice and try to eliminate that, or hopefully stumble across it and then go from there.
There you go, man. I wish y'all luck. I think that ABT, she does a great job of that tournament trail. That thing's getting bigger and bigger, and because of that, they've upgraded these launches. I went Sunday to Demopolis, at City Landing, and that thing. I mean, we were launching they had a bass tournament. And I just put Neil pulled my boat in there right amongst 4 people, and you're 4 deep, just pulling. That thing's amazing, the way they got it designed.
I have yet to be down there yet, so
I got you.
I don't fish that section of the river much.
Yeah, it's hard to get away from where you are. I mean, there's no reason to, William, I think when you say perspective, you're using a perspective mount. You don't have it in perspective mode. You just got the mount that flips over, the one that comes off the shaft, right?
That's right. You can, yes, sir.
Yeah, you don't have it in mode. You don't have it flipped over to flat. You just got the mounts, is what you're saying.
Right. I can flip it to perspective mode.
I got you. Right. Yeah. It kind of what that mount does, man. If you're looking at it from the side, it gets it out in front a little bit more, and it gives you the opportunity to turn it sideways to put it in perspective. What it is, William. But
that's right.
I don't know anybody that runs perspective unless they're running 2 transducers, Gage. I don't.
That's right, because you have to actually adjust your Allen head right on the shaft to turn it.
Exactly, and roll it around. That's exactly right.
So they keep that one in perspective mode on another unit, watching it, and then have your forward on another graph.
Right. I got you. So what's your favorite bait to catch any bass on? Just just a general bait, Gage, without.
Probably a spinner bait.
Yeah. So that's your deal, huh?
I'm gonna have one tied on all the time.
Yeah. So you're throwing 20-pound line, 6/8, 5-to-1 reel, maybe something slow. Don't burn it.
That's
you're just feeling that thump.
That's right.
I got you. You run a bunch of willows, Colorados, or singles, or what do you normally do?
Normally, a double willow blade.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Are you? I used to fish from guys, Gage, that clack their bait a lot. They would let it fall and clack it, and then get it going, or stop and start, or just steady retrieve. And I guess it depends on day to day if you do that, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Normally you just throw that thing. If they're gonna be eating it, they're gonna be tied up there eating it. So you don't really, unless you're fishing open water, you may can get a different reaction strike or whatnot doing that with your rod, but
right.
A lot of times if they want it, you don't have to normally make them bite.
Right. Are you bouncing it off something? Or are you really just coming by a couple times, or you one cast by a log or 2 or 3 casts? What are you doing?
I try to make several casts. like I told you, my dad will say, "You going too fast by that log. You need to make 3 or 4 more casts."
Right.
Up there. You know there's a fish in there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Uh, Brandon Johnson wants to know, what is in your opinion, the best muddy water spinnerbait? Like, what is your go-to colors? They make so many different colors now. So
They make a lot of colors. I guess it would be just your typical chartreuse and white.
yeah, you run a trailer with that Gage, or you just?
I do run a trailer, and I run a trailer hook a lot of times, depending on if I'm fishing real tight to cover. If I'm fishing around a lot of wood, I won't run one because you usually stay hung up a lot.
I understand. Yeah, you don't want to do that. And them things $10 a piece now.
That's
More.
right.
So
We actually starting to make our own. We don't make we buy the head and the wire and the
gotcha.
blades and stuff separate. And my dad hand ties these skirts for us. So
Oh man, hey, it's all about confidence, Gage. Whatever you got confidence in.
That's right.
I mean, you know, and if they don't make it, you can always make your own. You know, that's the thing. You know.
We making our own swim jigs, flipping jigs, and
Oh man, good deal.
pouring. Oh, we used to be big in it. I need to take up some more and learn it myself. So
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. That's a kind of I ain't gonna say it's an art, but a lot of people don't practice that. You know, for
that's
sure.
right.
Well, I'm trying to think if I need to talk to you anything else without getting too deep into it. I guess we can talk about Maddie's tournament. You said you're gonna fish it depending on work, right here. The Millers Ferry Heritage Open. There's no deposit required. Just call Maddie and get you a boat number there at Bridgeport Landing.
Yes,
That's
sir. I
2 day
actually
of May
called.
20. What's that,
Go
Gage?
ahead. I said
You
I
know,
actually called. Yes, I called yesterday and had boat number 29. I think it was.
there you go. Hopefully she'll get her field, man. It looks like 12,000 first place, man. It's at Bridgeport Landing, 2 days, the 25th and 27th. That's going to be that's a big largemouth day right there, isn't it, Gage?
That's right. Sure is.
Yeah, that's prime time, for sure. Maddie texted me that, and yeah, yeah. You won at Bridgeport. Brandon said that's what we were discussing before. Brandon, him and his dad did win at Bridgeport. You had 18-11, didn't you say, Gage?
Yes, sir. We did.
I'll slide. Tell everybody about this little fish right here, Gage. What is that little thing right there?
That is my personal best spotted bass, 6.01 pounds.
Ooh, it's a big old spot. That thing is healthy. Woo.
Yes, it was. It was
Man,
a
that's
big one.
that pull and drag out there, Gage.
For sure. A lot.
Them things are angry, especially that big, man. And then when you see all that gold come up, it gets you nervous, boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. That's a big old spotted bass right there.
Sure
I
was.
mean,
Pretty fish.
that is a pretty fish. So, of course, y'all had some good fish to weigh 18 pounds in this weekend. There wasn't no little fish now.
No, we had a great day. 2 4-pounders and 3 3-pounders.
Yeah, that is a. So what? Hey, I'm glad Michael asked me this. What boat you running there, Gage? What? Thank
I'm
you, Michael.
running a Phoenix 2022 Phoenix 921 Elite with a Yamaha 250 show.
Gotcha. Yeah, those are nice
Yeah.
boats. They ride great. I've been in several of them.
Oh, they're amazing.
They do
Other
good.
than the price, they real expensive.
Whew, man, I see where Icons come out with a cheaper boat. They say
Cheaper.
it's still in the 80s. You know.
Yeah,
It's
I think
crazy,
they're high end boats in like the 120s. I think.
Oh yeah, man. They built a nice boat, but man,
They
I don't know. It gets to a point you're like, hey, man, when's enough enough? You know.
Well, as long as we keep buying them, they gonna keep going
I
up.
agree with you, man. I agree. You know, my buddy's got that gorilla hull on the bottom of his Falcon. You know, and I didn't know what a gorilla hull was, and he knocked 3 holes in that Falcon, and his insurance paid for to get a gorilla hull on it. It slows it down about a half mile an hour, but it's supposed to be indestructible. So it's like
Really?
$3,500. Oh yeah, it's you know, you fish that rivers and stumps. So if you ever do any damage to it, that's an option, guys. To hey, talk to your insurance. Hey, let's put a nail in this thing, but they carry it out to Louisiana, and they roll that thing over and coat it, and they say it bulletproofs that thing. So it's pretty. It's called. I know it's called a gorilla hull, but it's interesting.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. That's the first I've heard of
He
it.
got his Falcon. He's a big crappie fisherman. Shiloh is, and he knocked 3 holes in his one year, and his insurance company's like, "Hey, let's." The boats, they're so expensive, man. If you can fix it for that, and you really can't tell it, Gage, till you walk up close to it and you can see the little dimples in the,
Right.
in the fiberglass. But if you look at it, it's called Gorilla Hull. It's interesting. I know that.
I hope I don't have to find out about that gorilla hole.
Oh, me neither, man. I tell you, I ran over enough stumps this weekend, so down there at Millers Ferry, but we're gonna get into a little crappie fishing. I know catfishing, everybody's still catching some jugs and stuff. I seen Travis posting pictures, and but I tell you, we had our crappie cast camp down there, and y'all probably smelled it. We was cooking fish up on the hill when y'all were weighing in.
Yeah, I wish there would have been some left.
Oh, there was a pile left. Lord, man, I had 2 gallon Ziploc bags, but we went down there, and some of the best fishermen in the state come and visit. Scott Mitchell and Byron Weiss, and man, there's just a pile of people. We had about 50 people show up, but I ran into Byron. He caught some nice crappie. I caught probably 7 or 8 right at 2 pounds myself, and Byron come in there and I think he had 7 that weighed like 13 pounds. But I tell y'all, Millers Ferry is fishing tough as far as crappie fishing, and I had to chase a lot of them fish, Gage. Like I would see them, and before I could get my bait to them, they were running to the next stump, or I was tracking them with a live scope, and if I could get them to stop, I could catch them. But they were just coming out of the mud, really, at 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. People don't realize that, because I talked to Byron. I said, "Hey man, I gotta get ready for the fish fry." He said, "Where?" I said, "Look, man, take this line right here. The fish are just coming out of the mud and getting up on these treetops." And he's like, "Man, I'll go right through there." And then he ended up catching them good fish. But they're just like them spots, man. They like to stay in the mud too.
Right.
It's crazy, but Millers Ferry's fishing tough as far as crappie fishing, and April's always like that. I don't know how much rain we got coming down there, but you just have to get out there and be patient and catch what you can catch. So
That's right.
But man, I appreciate you being on here, Gage, and sharing a little bit of your knowledge and what you learned from your dad and stuff. And we'll get you back on here, especially you go up here and win that ABT. We'll get you right back on here.
And I'd love to be back on here talking about that. That's for sure.
Hey, we wish the good luck for you, man. Like I said, for sure, man. I want to thank Harris Farms, old Parker and them, and Hunter's Run, old Michael at Camden and Monroeville, and Rouse's Crawfish. They're 3 sponsors for the show. I post a lot on this page about them. I appreciate them jumping on here. They jumped on here early. This thing hadn't been going a month, and it's growing. I think we're getting towards 3,300 followers, which is a big deal.
Yeah,
no longer we've been on here. Yeah, it is, and I like to get people like yourself on here that's catching fish and and keeping up with the latest stuff, and maybe we can get you and your dad on here as soon as y'all bust that $15,000 up to the ABT. We'll catch y'all on here next week.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, man. I ain't gonna keep anybody. Like I said, I try to run these shows 25, 30 minutes, where everybody can spend time with their family. It's time to eat dinner, and Gage is sitting there going through all this stuff. He's leaving for a trip, so for sure he's headed to Logan Martin for the ABT. Is it the 2nd or 3rd term? Which tournament is it, Gage?
This is the 3rd.
3rd, okay.
3rd.
Good deal. Man, I wish y'all luck. Like I said, I thank the sponsors. Appreciate you being on here, Gage. When I end this, you just stay on here. You stay on here and we'll keep talking. But
okay,
we'll be back next Wednesday, 6 p.m., guys. We'll try to talk some more crappie fishing and some bass fishing and see how Gage and his dad do. But appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, there's 54 people on here, and that's good. There's that many people on here because Gage is on here. I'm sure they want to know in case he slips, and if he slips and shares something. But he done a great job, Gage. I appreciate you being on here, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, you have a good night, and stay on here, man. We'll see everybody next time. Appreciate y'all being on here.